This is Geometry, Unit 1, Lesson 8, on statements and connectives. We are going to look at some of the basics of logic where statements and connectives come in. This is used a lot when you're dealing with proofs so that we can say one argument is true or not. So let's take a look at the basics of statements and connectives. A statement is a sentence that is either true or false. You can immediately look at the statement and say this is a true statement or this is a false statement. That makes it a statement. For example, if I saw a triangle has exactly 3 sides, I can immediately say, yes, that is a true statement. So it is a sentence that I can immediately say that is true. Now, what about the statement, the sum of the angles in a triangle is 360 degrees? Well, that's a statement, it's a sentence, and I can immediately say that is actually a false statement because the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. So it is a statement, but it is a false statement. I can immediately say the truth value of these two sentences. I know this sentence is true and this sentence is false. So I can figure out the truth value. Now, what about this third sentence? Draw a triangle. Is that a statement? No, it's not. This is not a statement because we can't say this is true or false. It's a command. So therefore, you can't say if this is true or false, so it is not a statement. Now, what about the sentence, the triangle is isosceles? Well, it's a statement, but can we determine if it's true or false? Well, it really depends on what kind of triangle you have. This is what's called an open statement. An open statement is true or false depending on the kind of triangles for this particular one. So this one you can't determine until you know what kind of triangle. So this one is called an open statement. With an open statement, you need to know more information to determine the truth value. Now, this might be true. If I said the triangle is isosceles when it has 2 sides, that would be a true statement. However, if I said the triangle is isosceles when all 3 sides are congruent, that would be a false statement because it's not true. That would be an equilateral triangle. So, in order to be a statement, you have to be able to immediately look at that statement and say, I know this is true or I know this is false. The next thing we're going to look at is the negation of a statement. The negation of a statement causes the statement to have the opposite truth value. So let's look at a couple of examples of negation. All right, let's look at the statement, cows lay eggs. Is that a true statement or a false statement? Well, cows lay eggs hopefully is a false statement. So I immediately know that's false. Now, I want to negate this statement so that it becomes true. How do we do that? Cows lay eggs, the negation would be cows do not lay eggs. Cows do not lay eggs is the negation of that statement, so that truth value is now true. This statement is false, its negation is true. How about the statement, horses do not speak Spanish? Well, hopefully that's a true statement. Its negation would be horses speak Spanish, or horses do speak Spanish. What is the truth value of that statement? Well, that is false. So you can see when you negate something, it gives you the opposite truth value. Statements are often joined together with what's called compound statements. Compound statements are 2 or more statements joined by a connective. We have 2 different kinds of connectives we're going to look at today. The first one is called a conjunction, and statement. 2 statements joined by the word and. So if we are looking at a conjunction, we have to determine when a conjunction is true or false. Well, let's look at each individual statement. Ducks swim and ducks fly. What do we know about the statement ducks swim? Is that true or false? Well, that's true. And ducks fly. True or false? That is also true. So if you have a statement, ducks swim and ducks fly, overall, if I said ducks swim and ducks fly, that overall statement would have to be true. Now, what if I said penguins swim and penguins fly? Is that true? Does that happen both at the same time? Well, penguins swim we know is true. But do penguins actually fly? No, they don't. That's false. So overall, this statement would actually be false that would actually be false, not true, because both of those can't happen at the same time. With a conjunction, in order for the statement to be true, you have to have something could happen at the same time. So if I said ostriches swim and ostriches fly, well, they neither swim nor fly. So overall, this is a false statement. So the rule for a conjunction is true only if both parts are true, or both statements are true. To be true with a conjunction, both parts have to be true. If even one part is false, then overall the statement is false. A disjunction is the other kind of connective we're going to look at. A disjunction is two statements joined by the word or. Now this is important. I always think of this one as either or. So let's look at a couple of examples and see if we can determine when a disjunction is true or false. So we have cows have claws or cows have fangs. Would either of those statements be true? Well, let's see. Cows have claws is false. Cows have fangs is also false. So could I say either cows have fangs or claws? Not really. So overall, this statement is false. Now, what about eagles have claws or eagles have fangs? Well, we do know that eagles have claws. That's true. But do eagles have fangs? No, we don't think so. Now, but what if I said to you either eagles have claws or fangs? Well, yeah, that's true because they do have claws. They either have claws or they have fangs. So that statement would actually be true. How about bobcats? Bob have claws. That's true. Or bobcats have fangs. That's also true. So overall, this statement would be true. I can say bobcats either have claws or fangs, and I would still be making a true statement. So let's take a look at what we have here. The rule for a disjunction is false only if. Well, when was the disjunction false? Both parts were false. If you have even one true, then the disjunction is true. So, an and statement has to have both parts be true to be true. An or statement or disjunction has to have at least both parts be false to be false, otherwise it's true. So, when you're doing an and, you have to look at each individual statement. If they're both true, it's true. If one of them is even false, it's false. For a disjunction, both statements have to be false and it's false, or if at least one of them is true, it's true. So those are the different kinds of connectives that we deal with content statements. We look at these as part of a logical argument.